Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to another spanking hot What If. This is What If Deku was Medusa's son, part 1. You were all so close, thinking of all sorts of random ideas, but none of them were correct, sorry. But, well... Hope y'all will enjoy this What If as much as me. I love the concept of Lamia's. Deku will have two forms, as this is his base form. By the way, no, this is not a quirk. No, Medusa's power is not a quirk. Okay? And this, Deku will be the child of the actual Greek myth Medusa, as in the immortal snake lady. Which will look like this. Now, his father, on the other hand, will be this. If you have no idea who this is in Greek myth, allow me to explain. This is Typhoon, the storm titan, or basically the father of all monsters. Now, Typhoon is Deku's father, basically, and Medusa is his mother. As well, our story begins a long time ago. As this would have been right around World War II. Now you might be wondering, wait, wasn't that like 200 something years ago? So it has a very long time. Well, according to my knowledge, My Academia starts in 4021. Yes, 4021. Which, if you think about it, Jesus crikey, that's a long time away. So, yeah. Pretty much, it would have been over 2,000 years for My Academia people. As it would have been World War II. Sorry. As Medusa would be pretty much just chilling, trying to, make a living with her life, and, well, all that bullcrap happened. All the bullcrap of the Second World War happens, and she gets annoyed. And she then says, alright, apparently, I can't have a nice place to... Okay, apparently, I cannot live anywhere. I can't live in Germany. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Japan. And I'm going to go back to Greece. As basically Medusa goes back to Greece, and she says, Jesus, no matter where I go, it's always the same things. Fighting, war, all of that. And annoyance. I hate it. As then, well, she would say, well, hold on, let me get this. As her phone with a snake cover, and with a snake cover, would be vibrating. As she would grab it, there would be a text, as she pretty much, yes. Now, the phones around this time, humans didn't really have nice phones, but she's basically a Greek goddess. And gods and goddesses always have the best stuff. I mean, seriously, have you not read the friggin' Percy Jackson series? They have... seriously. When humans had just discovered fire. The gods had iPhone 11s. Don't ask how. So yeah. As basically, she would just be on her phone as she would have a text. She would look on her phone to see who the text was from, as it would be from Typhoon. As she would remember going on a date with him a couple years ago. I should then say, let's see what this is about. As basically Typhoon would be asking her what's up, and she'd say nothing. He'd ask, do you want to go on a date? She'd say again, I don't got much better to do. They'd begin dating. As, well, we skip back, and we skip thousands of years. A couple thousand years. A couple means two, so yeah. We skip two millennia. As, well, Medusa is just, waiting for Typhoon to come home. As Typhoon would walk through the door, and she would say, hey honey, as she would run over and hug him. As he would say, is there something wrong? As he would notice that she's been feeling off for a couple of days. As he said, so is there anything wrong with you? Did you go to the doctor? As she would then say, yes, I did. And they told me I was not sick. I was not in danger. But here's what they did help me. As she would then hold up a slip, a piece of paper, which would say, pregnant. As Typhoon would say, you're serious? You weren't joking? As she'd say, nope. The next thing you know, Typhoon would have a giant-ass grin on his face. As he'd then say, yes! Yes, I'm going to have a son! As he knew she was a humanoid serpent, he was a monster god. So he pretty much knew that he would have a child with more than 5 brains, with more than 5 neurons as a brain cell. As basically all of his children with Echidna had only 5 neurons as brain cells. As she would then say, hold on, I have to text my sisters. As she would grab her phone, which by this time, it's like an iPhone 20, it's like an iPhone 500. And let's be serious, in 2,000 years, iPhones will be so friggin' advanced that we won't know what to do with ourselves. As she would basically pull out a phone with a snake case on it, as she would basically text 2 numbers. As then the next thing you know, there would be a knock on the door. As Medusa would open the door, and 2 ladies would walk out, and would walk into their home. As one of the ladies would have red snake hair, and basically humanoid features, but humanoid body, but the snake hair and snake scales. As another sister would walk in, as she had a as she had snake hair but humanoid skin with a long snake tail. As the two sisters, and as the two women would then enter and say, Medusa, hopefully you aren't lying. As then one of the red sisters and the red woman would then snap her fingers, as suddenly I believe it's Uriel, I'm gonna go with Uriel. Uriel would she would say Uriel now, as the blue Gorgon would pretty much begin and showing some plans for baby showers. I should then say, how about this one? Is it a bit too cute? I got you covered. How about this one? Too deadly? No. This one? Too lazy? Okay. This one? Too exotic? She'd be showing hundreds of different designs for baby showers. As then Medusa would then pick one and say that one. As, say, Cynthio, I believe it's Cynthio or Cyanthio. I'm going with Cynthio. As Cynthio would, basically her, would say, excellent choice. Now, let's get this baby shower on a roll. As they would begin pretty much building entire pantheons for a baby shower. As then, well, Typhoon would say, do we really need all of this? As then the two Gorgon sisters would stop and just turn their heads around and look at him and say, yes! Basically, it's like that one meme where it just says, yes, 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 yes! But they wouldn't even speak, they just look at him with unholy glares. As he'd say, point taken. As time skip of 9 months later, now Medusa would be giving birth in the hospital. As pretty much she'd be giving birth. And next thing you know, out comes this little adorable devil. As she then says, and as everyone begins saying, "Aww, how cute." As he just looked like he had broccoli for hair. He just looked like he had a nice green patch of hair, pale skin, and pale scaly skin. As they then say, "Aww, he's so cute." And then Deku would turn into and then Deku's legs would then transform into a small snake tail. Because mind you, he's just been born. As they then say, "Aww, he can have legs and a tail." As then the two Gorgon sisters would say, "No fair." As pretty much then Uriel would say, "No fair. I'm stuck with this tail 24/7. Yes. There may be a lot of snake hissing in this what if, so please tell me if you want me to keep the hissing or no. Okay? Just tell me. In the comments, tell me, just say, basically, put a snake emoji if yes, and put a penguin emoji if no. If you don't know what a penguin is, you're dumb. You are dumb. Very dumb. As anywho, back to the what if. I should then say, "Aww, I'm going to name you Izuku." As then, Izuku would pretty much just hold on to, with his two tiny baby hands, hold on to his mother's finger. And she would then say, "Aww, how cute." As pretty much she would take him home to their home, which right now is in Japan. As pretty much Typhoon, pretty much we do a time skip of 4 years. As everyone around, and as most people would have gotten their quirks, as Izuku would be at the age of 4, and Medusa and Typhoon would both know he has no quirk. He's not human. He's a god. But, well, Medusa would have to take him to the quirk doctor anyway, so that people would not think of it as weird. As she would say, Come on, Izuku, we have to go to the quirk doctor." As Izuku would basically look like this. As he'd then say, "Yes, mother," and "Yes, mommy," as he'd pretty much get on this type of outfit, as he'd then say, "Alright, I'm ready." As she would then say, "Alright, now we are going to be walking to the quirk doctor, okay?" As Izuku would then say, "Okay, mommy." As they would basically walk to the quirk doctor, as the doctor would take several tests on Izuku and see that he actually did have a quirk. Now, she would be freaking puzzled, and she's just like, "Huh? Hold on." But as she would think, but he's a human. And he isn't human, he's a god, so how would he have a quirk? As the doctor would then say, it appears to be in a weird form of an untakeable or unobtainable quirk. What I mean by unobtainable is no one can take it, steal it, copy it, or erase it. Or anything like that. It appears to be some form of energy manipulation, as he can manipulate elemental energy of 4 elements, as these elements, the doctor would say, are wind, fire, water, and earth, the 4 basic elements of our world. As she'd then say, "Huh, well, looky there," as she would go pretty much to her house with Izuku, as she would say, It appears I have been proven wrong by the strange reality of how things work. He is a god, yes, but he has a quirk. One that cannot be taken, stolen, or basically anything like that. As it's an elemental manipulation quirk. He can manipulate the 4 basic elements: fire, earth, wind, and water. As then, pretty much, Typhoon would then say, "What? But he's a god, so wait, what?" As everyone would just be puzzled, but would eventually think of it as an extra added bonus. He's a strong god already, and now he can manipulate elements, so yeah. And Suzuku's parents would pretty much bring him to gods of the 4 basic elements that he can control. As they would have brought him to a god named Aeolus or Aeolus. The god's name is spelled Aeolus. I'm calling that Aeolus or Aeolus. Yeah, it's Aeolus, I think. As they would basically bring him to Aeolus to basically train him under the power of wind, of the air. They would also enlist the help of Hephaestus, the Greek god of fire, as they would then enlist the help of Poseidon, the god of water, and then, and Typhoon wasn't really happy on who he'd need to ask for help to help his son control the power of Earth, but sacrifices must be made. As Typhoon would have brought his son to Gaia, or Gaia, yeah, I believe it's Gaia, as he would have brought his son to Gaia, or his mother, as he would have said, "Ma, I hate to ask this, but I need your help." As pretty much a woman wearing full green with some brown on her clothes, with hair that was as green as the grass and the leaves and the bushes, would then say, "I told you one day you would need my help. Now, Typhoon, what do you need help with?" As Typhoon would then say, "It's my son. He isn't like the other children. How can I explain this? He's a humanoid with more than 5 neurons for a brain." As then she would say, "Finally, one of your spawns is actually intelligent." As he would then say, "I take offense to that, but I'm ignoring that, because I have to agree with you. The Minotaur was stupid. No, the Chimera was stupid. The Hydra, stupid. Manticore, stupid. The Centaurs, stupid. So I have to agree with you there." As she would then say, "So bring me the child." As he'd then say, "Okay." As pretty much he would say, "Izuku," as Izuku would be walking up to his father, he'd then say, "Yes, Papa?" As immediately Gaia would have one look at the boy and just think, "So adorable, so perfect." As she'd then say, "You got yourself a deal. I'll train the kid for free, and you owe me nothing. Understood?" As he'd then say, "Yes, mother." as pretty much Deku would be given the tutoring and training of the gods of the 5 basic elements: air, fire, water, and earth. As we do a time skip to the age of 5. I'm to the next day. As Izuku would go to school after, you see, to him, it's been about a full year, but to everyone else, it's been one day. As Gaia kind of enlisted the help of another god, one who we all know very well, her youngest son, the destroyer, the bringer of mayhem, the youngest brother of Typhoon, the one, the only, the weapon of omnipotent mass destruction. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Kronos. As Kronos would have. Basically, Kronos is the god of time, or titan of time, as he would have basically slowed down. He would have, in a way, slowed down time where Deku was being trained. As for him, it would be about 1 year, but for everyone else, it would have been 1 day. As yes, Kronos can do this. If he wanted to, he could reset time. If he wanted to, he could reverse time. If he wanted to, he could fast forward time, pause time, completely stop time, or just reset time. As pretty much, that's what Kronos is. He is the Titan of Time. But enough about him. As Izuku would pretty much say, "Are you my uncle?" As Kronos would say, "Mother will do." Oh, stopped. "Mother, I'll give you 1 year. You're to train this adorable baby." As he'd then say, in his mind, "So cute." It's the next day. As Deku would go to school, and everyone would be talking about their quirks, and, Bakugo would go up to Deku, as he'd say, "What's your quirk? What's your quirk?" As he would pretty much say it's probably going to be some sort of snake-related quirk, as he has snake scales and can turn his legs into a giant snake tail. As he would then say, "Oh, elemental manipulation." As everyone would be completely thrown off guard by this. As they'd then say, "Huh?" As he'd then say, "Oh, it's elemental manipulation and Naga." As he would have said, because his mother would basically have told him, tell people that you being a basically being a snake is part of your quirk. As he would have said, "Okay, Mom." As Deku would have said, it's called Elemental Lamia. And it's called Elemental Naga. Yes, a Naga. If you have no idea what a Naga is, look up Naga. As a Naga is basically a humanoid with a snake bottom. And is a human with a snake bottom. As back to what if. As Bakugo would have said, "Wait, where do you get the elemental from?" And, "What do you mean, elemental?" As he would have said, "Oh, behold." as he would then create water out of thin air. He would create earth out of thin air. He would create fire out of thin air. And then he'd basically create a mini tornado out of thin air. What I mean by mini is it's about the size of a shoe. As he'd then say, see? As he'd then say, I can also control these elements. As he would then say, behold. As Deku would then basically point over to a kid who had a water bottle, as he'd say, watch this. As Deku would basically raise his arm up, as the water would fly out of the water bottle, as he'd then close his hand, as the water would then turn into a spear, as he'd then say, see? As he'd then say, also watch this, as he would spin his finger around, as the wind would begin creating a sort of tornado just around his fingers, as he'd also say, watch this, as suddenly the earth would begin shaking, and then basically a chair made of rock came up out of the ground. As he'd then say, and watch this, as he would basically inhale and then exhale, as fire would basically go all around, and would basically spread around, as he would then say, and boom, as he'd snap his fingers and everything would just go back to normal. As he'd then say, see, you caught on, I have a cool quirk, don't I? As Bakugo could say, holy. Yeah you do, Deku, and yeah you do, Izuku. You could be the strongest hero ever with that quirk. And you could be number 2 with that quirk. As Deku would then say, number 2? As Bakugo would then say, yeah, you'll be right underneath me. As my quirk's obviously the best. As then Deku would say, oh, I forgot one last part of my quirk. Immortality. As then everyone would shut up. As they then say, so wait, you can't die? As he then say, yep. And then they then say, how would you find a girlfriend if they would all die? I from old age. As he then say, that's a tough one. I'll figure it out sometime. But if I'm the number 1 hero, I'll be number 1 hero forever. He would then say. As he'd then say, also, I can kind of communicate / control I can also communicate to snakes. Watch this. As pretty much Deku would begin hissing and would begin pretty much hissing, or well, not really hissing, as he can telepathically talk to snakes. As then suddenly the ground would shake, as a snake as an anaconda would pretty much slither out of the ground. As this anaconda was made out of, and was basically covered in rock. As he'd then say, hey, behold my amazing feats. As he'd then raise down. And as he'd say, you may go away now. As the anaconda would pretty much leave. And Deku would fix the ground. As he would then say, "So Bakugo, you might have a cool, I'm so Kachan, you might have a cool quirk, but I'm pretty sure I'll be number one. And even if you are number one, you'll only have a limited time as number one. As then when I'm number one, I'll be number one forever." As Bakugo would then say, yeah, Zuko. Yeah. As Bakugo would pretty much become best friends with Hazuku. As we skip to the last day of middle school. As Zuko and Bakugo would pretty much be, in middle school, as the teacher would walk out of nowhere with the forms, as he'd say, "Hey, alright, let's talk about what you're gonna do after middle school." As he would then say, who am I kidding? As he'd throw the papers everywhere and say, "I know y'all want to be heroes." As everyone would begin using their quirks, except Deku and Bakugo. As well, Bakugo would then say, "Hey, Teach, don't lob me in with these extras. I'm the real deal. The only two who are able to be actual good." I'm sorry. As he'd then say, these extras would have better luck being a side click, have better luck to being a sidekick for some D-lister and being an actual good hero like me and Izuku. As he'd then and say, "Only me and Izuku are the only ones allowed to go to UA. Got it?" As he would pretty much go back on and sit back in his desk. As Deku would pretty much say, "Hey, that wasn't very nice, Kachan, but you are right. No one can even compare." As pretty much with being best friends with Bakugo, Deku would have sort of pride in his abilities, as he would consider himself and Bakugo the two strongest aside from All Might, and aside from any gods. As he'd then say, and as pretty much Deku would then say, but back to what I was saying, as he has Bakugo's pride from being with him for so long, but he still has his cute, nice, quiet, shy, nerdy self that we all love and know, and that we all know and love. As Deku would then say, and would then pretty much at the time skip to the end of school, and to the end of the day, as Bakugo and Deku would begin walking and out, and would basically begin walking home, as Bakugo would say, "Hey, crap, I gotta go get some groceries, okay? I'll go over to Auntie. I'll meet you over at Auntie's house. I just gotta, get groceries first. I kind of forgot I was supposed to get them this morning and bring them home after, school. So just hold on. I'll meet you home. I'll meet you at Auntie's for, some video games and food." As he would And as pretty much Izuku would then say, now let's go. And as Izuku would then say, alright, let's go. Alright, I'll see you there. As Izuku would not go the shortcut, but instead Bakugo would. As Bakugo would be walking down the shortcut, he'd be basically jumped by the sludge villain. And, well, Izuku would basically be walking by as he would hear muffling, like a muffling, choking sound. As he would then walk over and see a sludge villain attacking Bakugo, as he'd then say, "Oh, no you don't." As Deku would have learned how to basically control the temperature of the water, as he would then freeze the water, and as he would create water, freeze it, and then begin clashing it together to create lightning, as he would begin electrocuting the sludge villain. This, of course, would be damaging the sludge villain pretty badly. As yes, if you had no clue, lightning is formed when small particles of ice hit together, as that gives you lightning. As well, the sludge villain would have been fried. What I mean by that is after Deku was done tasing the sludge villain and disorienting it, he would then basically create a giant ball of fire and throw it at the sludge villain. As he'd then pick up all the pieces of sludge and put it in a bottle. As he'd then say, "Guess I have to bring this to the police station now." As he would just be about to, as All Might would walk up and would walk out of nowhere and say, "I am here! I am here!" As Deku would have the bottle and he'd say, "Where'd the villain go?" As Deku would then say, right here. Sorry, he was attacking my friend and Bakugo, and my friend Bakugo, so I had to take evasive action. But yeah, here he is. As All Might would have said, "Okay, thank you, young." As Deku would have then said, "Oh, Midoriya." As yes, despite her being, well, and despite Medusa having no name, she and Typhoon would have had to create false names, because, I mean, if obviously you have hair that is snakes, you have no last name, and you can turn people to stone, and your first name is Medusa, people will get sus. And same go, and kind of the same thing for Typhoon. As they would then come up with the last name Midoriya. As they would then come up with their first names, as Medusa would be called Inko, and Typhoon would be called Hazashi. As pretty much, he would then say, "Izuku Midoriya." As All Might would then say, "Ah, well then, thank you, young Midoriya, for getting the sludge villain for me, but please do not use your quirk in public until you become a good hero." As he would then say, "By the way, what is your quirk?" As Izuku would then say, "It's called Elemental Naga. I command all 4 basic elements, and, well, looky here." As Izuku would then turn into this form, as his legs would pretty much swirl around and become a giant snake tail. As he'd say, "Hey, yeah. Also, the quirk entails immortality." as Deku would then say. And I'm gonna be the #1 hero. Maybe even better than you one day. As pretty much All Might would then say, holy, this kid has a very strong quirk. He's very strong and he has a very strong quirk. But the last part, I need to basically watch over him and make sure that All for One doesn't find him and doesn't get him or take his quirk, because if All for One was to get immortality, then he'd never let it go and he'd be the most overpowered villain to ever exist. Hold on. Sorry about that. As All Might would say, if All for One gets this, he could be the most powerful villain in existence. He could complete his dream and become a god. I cannot let this kid's quirk fall into the wrong hands. When in reality, Deku is a god who just controls elements and is a freaking OP. And is freaking OP. As pretty much, yeah. As then Deku says, alright, I have to go. See you later, All Might. As he and Bakugo basically just run away and run back to Deku's house. As All Might and Deku and Bakugo and Deku would pretty much run over to Deku's room and begin playing video games. As they would be playing, Mortal Kombat. They'd be playing Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat 11, got all their characters upgraded, just fighting. Deku would always play as a reptile, as Bakugo would always play as Scorpion. Now, we skip to pretty much the entrance exams, as Deku spent the 10 months of training with the gods and all that. As Bakugo spent his 10 months of training punching in trees and fighting against giant wooden trees and non-stop every day. And, well, visiting Bakugo and visiting Deku. No, he would basically do nothing but train. Train and train and train. As we go to the first day of the entrance exam, as Deku would walk over and would basically get everything right on the entrance exam. As, think about it, his grandmother, who is also one of his teachers, is the goddess of the earth. I'm pretty sure she would be able to tell him every single event that has ever happened on the earth. And so he would be so freaking smart that Nezu, his intelligence would basically be like that, the intelligence of a one-celled organism compared to Deku. Right now Deku would be in this form, as he would bump into someone. Now this person, they will be the ship, but I have no clue who to make the ship, so tell me who the ship should be in the comments. Please? Okay. As Deku and Bakugo would be basically talked to by Lita, as he would just say, and as Deku would basically create, he would create a fist out of sand, as sand is technically pulverized rock. Like small pieces of pulverized rock and dust. As pretty much he would be able to control sand. As Deku would basically just create some sand, as he would then create a fist out of sand, as he would then have it punch Tenya and Yelita, as he then say, leave me alone, you Karen. As Bakugo would just say, oh, and the two would pretty much mind their business. Now when Tenya was basically doing his whole rant on the robots, Bakugo, Deku would just say, clearly, okay, think about it. If there's 4 robots and only 3 of them have points, then the 4th must be something that you should avoid, right? As he then say, hey, correct. And as Deku would then say, correct. So, therefore, shut up. As he would then, as pretty much Deku would then say, alright. Now, let's wait. As President Mike would say, alright, you start on 3, 2, and cliffhanger. Hope you all enjoyed this part. Hope you all enjoyed this. This is part 1 of What If Deku Was Medusa's son. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and tell me how you think it went. And did anyone expect this to be the what if? Tell me in the comments. As I told no one what it was. Not even the people I always highlight and talk about. I told no one. So, tell me in the comments what you think. And goodbye.